listeners. It's Carrie Clarke again for another episode of The Healing Power of Divorce. We're coming back again for the second part of online dating, and I have this time around just one sidekick. I'll let her introduce herself.
Hello, I'm Tara.
So, if you've been watching the first episode, I talked about how I got ready for online dating, and I went through the Love Mentor and making a list of 5 things I wanted in a partner. And from that point, I had to decide what I really wanted to do. And Tara and I were talking about a little bit of how difficult it really is to meet new people.
Absolutely.
It's not just jumping right into online dating. Now, I had done a few different things to try to meet new people, and the traditional things. We had talked about this before the camera started rolling.
Yeah.
I had made a list, the bar scene wasn't, I don't know if that was effective for you. Maybe when you're 21, that's an effective place to meet new people. But 20 years later, not so much a place that I felt I was really comfortable being in, nor it's just not something that, I do on a regular basis. I don't go out to bars.
Me neither.
So the second thing people had suggested to me was workplace situations. Now, my particular profession, I'm a public accountant. My client base is not, they're generally speaking, they're already married, or they're a lot older than I am. So that wasn't, for me, it wasn't an effective way, to find someone to date.
And I'm a teacher, and so a majority of my coworkers are women. So, so it's difficult. So yeah, that's not a good place for me either to meet people. So.
Yeah, and we were kind of laughing a little bit. People had suggested like going to the gym. Now, I'm a big exerciser. I have always loved exercise. It's something that, I really enjoy doing. And I decided to get a gym membership at a local gym that was close to my office. And I started to pick up tennis, and I said, well, I'll go and try to meet new people that way. Not actually looking for someone to date, just looking for a new pool of people to meet. And so I went through, got a gym membership, and again, I wasn't meeting people that I felt like were dateable people. It wasn't like, and we were kind of chuckling about it. Are you going to go around the gym and say, "Are you single?" No, you're not. That's really like uncomfortable. You're not going to do that.
Right.
We all don't have billboards. We're taken or we're single over our heads. So that left me with something I was very uncomfortable with, but something I said, for me, I just need to test the waters.
Sure.
And I had talked to a couple friends about online dating, and never did I ever think I would be setting up an online dating profile. The day that I went to my attorney and said I wanted a divorce and I signed the papers, never did I think, oh, I'm going to meet someone in an online dating situation. But today's day and age,
it's honestly one of the best ways to meet people now, because like you said, we don't go to bars very often anymore. It's just harder when you have a family and a job and this and that going on. And how do you meet? It's very difficult. So at least with online dating, you can be at home in your pajamas. You can sit, you can type, text back and forth, and get to know somebody before you actually see them, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So turned out that I had a group of people. We were all recently divorced. And I had talked to them about setting up an online dating profile. And none of them, no one wanted to do it. No one. I mean, it was like taboo. Do not set up an online dating profile. And I kept saying to myself, I've been single for an extended period of time. I've gotten comfortable with, having my own space, doing my own thing, finding happiness without a partner. And I just felt like I was at a turning point of, if the right person came along, I would be open to it.
Sure.
So I went online and I go through the profile. And I'm looking at it saying, like, nervous. Do I want to expose this much stuff about myself? And it's funny with online dating, you have this little bit of fear about putting yourself out there, letting people actually know in a public forum, I'm single. And it goes back to, one of the first episodes, how you feel like when you file for divorce, like there is some shame or failure with it.
Yeah.
That you couldn't keep a relationship going, that you had to ultimately file for divorce.
Right.
And you couldn't make it work out. So now you're going to a public forum, you're setting up a profile where you're on a pedestal saying, I'm single.
Right.
And somehow society has labeled that as there's something wrong with you because you're single. And you have to kind of work through that whole process of saying, why am I single? What happened?
Why couldn't I make it work out?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And you kind of go back and forth with previous relationships and I should have stayed with this one. I should have stayed with that one. But at the end of the day, the universe brings you who's meant for you.
That's right.
And relationships don't work out for,
A reason.
those same reasons.
Yes.
So I get my profile up and there's things like I went back and I looked at a screenshot that I had and I picked things like I like to travel. I like to go out to dinner. I like to go to the movies. I like to do volunteer work. I like to go shopping and I'm open to exploring. The day that I opened up the profile, I just turned my phone around. I snapped a shot of myself and I looked at it. I said, does it really matter?
That's who you are, right?
Right. This is who I am. I'm going to upload it. Here we go. I'm going to pick the basic choices, all the choices that I saw. I was like, yeah, they do apply to me. And then they ask you to put on a description.
When you were talking about the picture part, I've heard from so many people that when they meet somebody, they don't look like their picture. So I think it's really important. Like, I don't understand why someone would do that, because if you're going to go out and meet that person, obviously they're going to say, hey, wait a minute, that's not who I saw, So I think it's so important to be honest when you put stuff up there.
Well, I'm glad you're bringing that up because that was the biggest thing that I had guys tell me when I went on a date. As soon as I walked into the room and they saw me, they said, you look exactly like your profile picture.
Right.
And I remember saying to myself, that's like completely confusing to me.
I know.
If you're serious about wanting a relationship with somebody, why would you upload a picture that doesn't look like you?
Or one that's 20 years old, or, we all age, unfortunately.
That was so guys would write on their profile, don't use a filter, don't do this, don't do that. And I remember reading this all saying, really? Like, I don't get it. I'm completely confused by the whole thing.
Right.
So back to, I picked my profile, I picked all these things. And I said, okay, those are the standard. I applied to the standard. Then a description.
Yeah. Which is the hardest part, I think. To describe yourself and to put your, like,
Yeah.
it's like, what do you say about yourself? Like, do you put the great things about you? You know what I mean? You don't want to sound like you're gloating, and then you don't want to sound like you're negative about yourself. That's a really fine line, and it's tough to come up with a really good description of who you are.
Yes. I kept it short and sweet. I went back and forth with it. I was really struggling with the fact that I didn't know if I should write a book or I should write a little bit. And so I decided to write a little. And the little bit said, first line, right out of the box, I said, I am so outside of my comfort zone. It's taking all my courage to even open up this profile. So I lead with that. And then I say, I am turning this over to the universe, that I have opened up this Match account for a reason.
Yeah.
Then the reasons will reveal themselves to me. I completely trust that I will learn something from this experience about myself.
Yeah.
And I can't ask for more than that.
Right.
That's all I wrote. I activate the account. It's up. It's live. I go to work. At lunchtime, I grab my phone. I had downloaded the app onto my phone. I open it up and I look at it. And I have over 300 messages.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember saying, there must be something wrong.
Right.
Like, how can I have over 300 messages? There's just like, I don't even know what to think.
I'm thinking, how far did you go out? Like, not 300 men in a row, and I can't imagine.
No, there was like, I said, it's funny you say that. My perimeter was not that far. And I didn't give, like, I said I was looking for males like within an hour of Rutland. And then I was saying that I wanted a certain age.
Right.
I only wanted to be within this age group. And what I really sat back at that moment and said to myself, how does anyone get through this online dating? How do you navigate this? I could have spent all night going through these messages. I'm like, no way. There's just no way. I don't know how anyone does this. I should have asked somebody.
Right. Well, I think I said last time during a message that it's very time consuming to date online. You come home, you're looking for people, you're talking to people. It just takes a lot of time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so I started to click into the messages, and I just, I didn't start at the bottom. I started at the top, and I just said, okay, I'll start reading some of these. Not responding to anybody, but just reading them. And one of the men that had written to me had said immediately, he said, I can tell without even seeing your inbox that you are overwhelmed with this.
Really?
And I was like, how does he know this? How does he know I'm overwhelmed with this? And he said, you don't have to respond back to me. He said, just, I'll give you a heads up. Change your match profile from public to private. And I was like, okay. And what that did was it went back to what the love mentor said. So I was no longer having men pick me.
So then if it's private, you got to pick men?
Yes.
I did not know that.
So
Huh.
I went from public to being overwhelmed very quickly, and to private to everyone on Match couldn't see my profile anymore.
Yeah.
I went in to everyone in my area and I scrolled through the pictures and decided, do I want to talk to this person?
Right. I didn't know that was an option.
Yep. So I learned that, in a very short period of time, and it went from being time consuming to now it's on my terms. When I have time for it, I'm going to log on, scroll through the pictures, and decide what.
You should have reached out to the guy that helped you.
Well, actually, I went out with him.
Oh, look at that.
I did not forget him. I kind of felt like, that it was good information that he gave me because I had no clue what I was doing.
Right.
None whatsoever. And I said to him, I told him I had changed my profile and I did it because of him. I appreciate it. And he said, would you like to meet? And I said, yeah, definitely. We could meet. And it wasn't a love match or anything, but I appreciated, that he gave me that advice.
Yeah.
And I think for possibly what he said, women in rural areas, we are bombarded by men. So it wasn't uncommon to get on there and have several people contact you.
Gotcha.
And I didn't know this either. So online dating isn't actually, people go on there not with the intention of getting a partner. They go on there with the intention of, this is just someone to talk to. So you're on there
to ease the loneliness a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I don't think most people know that. I mean, because I think the thought of it, when you see the commercials and everything, it's like, oh, this guy found this wife, and it's just all about the romance part and the love and you don't think about it as finding a friend that way.
Yes. And I just really, that was a hard thing for me to even fathom because I was not on there to have a pen pal.
Right.
I was just like, a pen pal? Really? You're on here just to chat? But if you look at society, there's all these chat rooms. People are lonely and they just get on there every night just to chat, not to actually meet.
Right.
So because I haven't been part of that world, the online world, again, this, maybe it's normal for other people. This was not normal for me. Not at all.
So I want to bring up the fact that I think one of the things that was very difficult for me is that I was nervous to meet, just because you hear about things like stalkers, like the downside of it. And so that was really difficult for me to to trust, like, oh, is this going to be okay? And, so obviously I always met somebody in a public place.
Yeah.
But I mean, I had one date that he didn't stalk me, but he would not leave me alone, and it took a while, and I had to get kind of mean, and it, that's not in my nature, but it was, it was very uncomfortable. I'm sure that can happen with anybody, even if you don't meet them online, but I think that's just another part, because you do feel vulnerable as a woman.
Oh my gosh, completely as a woman. So after I, turned it to private, and then I started doing the picking. The thing that we run into when anyone's on there is you have the opportunity to be rejected, that the person isn't going to respond back to you.
Right.
And again, it goes back to, I say, to anybody watching this that's going through this process, you have no idea why that person's on there. The person could not, they may not be looking for a match. They might just be looking for, there's all kinds of different things. I hate to say this, but there was that one scam with this big online service, and it was all married people on looking, for a partner. And you have to trust.
Yeah.
In a lot of levels. And again, it goes back to like, I was fearful.
Yeah, me too.
And I was also, once I found out people are just on there chatting, that I didn't talk to people for a super long time.
Right.
If I felt like we had enough in common in the initial conversations, I was like, well, let's meet. And so in my particular situation, for safety purposes, again, I was scared.
Yeah.
I went to the next town to a restaurant I never eat at. And I ended up having a friend have a relative that worked there. And when I went into the restaurant, I said I was always sit at the bar, wait for the date, and I would tell the friend, I would say, I'm here to meet a match date. If I give you, a sign like I'm scared, please walk me out or take me out the back door.
Absolutely. Yes.
And prior to any date, I would tell 3 of my friends that I was going on a match
Where
date.
you're going, the time you're going, everything. Yeah, because you can't take chances. You never know.
So it was, and it is, as a woman, I don't think men think, that they think about all these things.
I
and
don't know.
especially, some of the guys I talk to, they don't even think that like we're scared.
Right, exactly.
And I was terrified.
Me too. Most definitely. It's
really terrified.
Yeah.
About it. And so it was a flood of emotions and a tremendous amount of courage. It's not just a whimsical, I'm going to do this.
No, not at all.
It's a process, and it's a process that you have to stick with it. I have friends that still to this day refuse to try it, downright refuse. And that's okay. They won't tell me why, but it's really, I felt like, what was it about myself that I was scared of showing? And
well, I think we had talked previously about rejection, which is really difficult. So like you were saying, you went to private, and if you reach out and they don't respond to you, I think it's hard. You feel rejected, and that's difficult. So I think that's a part of it as well, that you have to be like, you know what, I'm not for everybody. Everybody's not going to be attracted to me. Everybody, and it's okay, because you are going to find the right person. So, right.
And you have to have some confidence in that the right person is going to show up at the right time.
Yes.
That if it doesn't work with match, or it doesn't work with a friend setting you up with somebody, the right person will come into alignment with you. And if they're not coming into alignment with you, then
okay. Yeah.
Then you either have more work to do on yourself, or it's just
not meant to be.
Right.
Just,
and I resolved myself to that I hoped that I came into alignment with someone, but if that wasn't in the cards for me, I was really, really going to learn a tremendous amount about myself.
Right.
And we've jumped around a little bit.
We have, yes.
But I ended up, what I did was I went on dates. I did pick people and match. Some people responded to me, some people didn't respond to me.
Yeah.
And it was really, as I was going through the profiles, I could tell certain ones that I was more attracted to than other ones.
Sure.
You know, and it came down to the person. So I think I went on 5 match dates. And they were various backgrounds. They were from scattered all over the place. White River Junction, Albany, New Hampshire. Nobody from
Rutland.
Rutland.
Right.
And I have to say, we didn't talk about this. So in those 300 messages, you know, I had scattered through them. And there were some people that knew me indirectly.
That must have been awkward.
It was awkward.
Yeah.
And I clicked on their message and I didn't really know them that well. And they would all say, "Why are you on here?" And I'm like, well, you're on here too.
Right, exactly.
Why are you sending me this message? Why are you on here?
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember responding to one of them and I was like, what kind of question is that?
Right.
Why am I on here?
Right.
And he's, you know, I don't know if he was trying to flatter me or what was happening, but he said, he goes, you have plenty of options. You don't have to do online dating. And I'm thinking,
but it's not that easy. It's, you
it's
know,
not.
No.
It's really not.
No.
You, like, people, especially married people, when they see someone single, they're like, oh, you'll have no trouble.
They always say that.
No trouble. Really?
I know.
Where are these people? They're not, last time I checked, they're not knocking on my door asking, you want to go on a date?
Right. No.
You know, it's not.
And it goes back to what we said in the beginning, that there's not time and it's very difficult to meet people because we don't go out to, you know, bars anymore that often. And if you go out to dinner, it's with a girlfriend and you're not looking for a man. You know, it's just like, it's hard to find people.
Yes, it is. It is. And you have to, I think, really get yourself, married people, and I too, you know, when I was married for such a long time, you don't think about,
You don't.
like, I used to talk to everybody and not, you know, just that because that's my nature to talk to everyone.
Yeah.
But when you're single and you start talking to everyone, well, is she hitting on them?
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, what is she doing? Why is she talking to them?
Yep. And if you have a male friend, just a friend, like you can't have a male
you're
friend.
dating
That's
them.
a whole nother
You're dating
episode.
them because you're hanging out with them, which you're not at all dating them. But you go golfing with them. Oh, you're dating them now.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm like, really?
I know.
And then I had to laugh about all that.
Yeah.
Like everything that happened with that process. Really, how people, when they visually see you as someone, they think like
They
make
conclusions.
assumptions
That's
about
right.
it.
Yes.
So then, you know, you go to plan B and you go to online dating and you're with somebody no one knows.
Right. Well, there you go.
And then they can't jump to conclusions about it because they're like, I don't even know who that is.
That's right.
And then you go to the next town, you're not around people that you know, so even better.
Exactly.
Well, it seems like the time has gone by so fast.
It always does. I know. We just have such great conversations.
We do. Well, we've gotten to part 2 of online dating, and I haven't even gotten to the fact that I actually did get a match.
You did.
And we don't have enough time today to go into that episode, but we will be leading into the match that I have and the process that I went through with the match. And so we'll leave you hanging for now. Thank you so much
You're
for coming on with me. This was great. A lot of information. I hope those of you out there that are nervous about doing online dating got a little bit more information. And if you're ready to do it, you know, have the courage to get on there, step outside of, you know, the box, Definitely have your friends around you. Definitely be safe. And as always, thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next month.